Hi, welcome back to Brain to Page, and this week's going to probably be quite a short video on free writing. Free writing is one of those things that I think I kind of came across by accident, and it certainly helps me, so I'm sharing it in the hope that it might help you as well. Who knows? Basically, free writing, I use it as a conversation with myself. So I use a website called 750words.com. In that book, or was it The Secret? It was one of those self-help books. The author advocates that if you write 3 pages a day, you basically when you first get up, you just brain dump and let everything out. It frees your brain space up to do other things with it later in the day, which is probably true. And this guy set up 750words.com because he worked out that 3 pages was essentially 750 words, and people can brain dump. And the idea is obviously you get 2 points per day if you finish your 750 words, and you get 1 point if you at least start but don't finish, and you get obviously badges and so on. But I didn't really mean to talk about 750words.com. It's basically a website where you have to write 750 words a day on anything you want. And I tend to use it when I'm structuring something, or I'm planning a story or something. Because there's a lot of books on how to structure. A lot of people advocate things like note cards and stuff like that, but I tend to find I need a way to actually work out my thought process on paper, or in this case digitally. So what I do is I'm going to use one of my short stories as an example. So I wrote one which is due to be published, hopefully, set on the platform at the British Museum station, which I've been fascinated by for years. It closed in about 1933, and obviously the station itself is no longer there because it's halfway between Holborn and Russell Square and doesn't really need a station. And there was one day I was on the Central Line and we stopped in between Tottenham Court Road and Holborn, and I realised we were in the British Museum station. So it's always fascinated me, the fact that technically the platforms have been taken up and so on, but the space is still there. And there were stories about it being haunted, allegedly by an Egyptian princess. And I'd written a short story about this before, and I'll actually leave the link to that below because it's on my blog. But I decided to write another one because a newspaper were actually daring people to spend time on the platform overnight in the station to earn money. So I thought, oh, I'll do that then. So I started off with the idea that I had my main character. So while free writing, I would write something like, I've got my main character and he wants to try and win the bet. So why does he want to try and win the bet? Clearly because he wants to win the money. What could he want to use the money for? So 1933, maybe he wants to be able to propose to his fiancée. A little bit of extra money would help. Obviously this is in the days before credit cards and so on, so he needs the money to basically either pay for a wedding or to go towards a honeymoon or something. So I thought, right, now I've got my character, and this is literally as I'm free writing, so I'm saying this to myself the way that I'm saying it to you, and I'm typing it out. So I'm saying, right, so I've got this character, he's got this money, so now he's going to go into the station, but what might happen to him while he's in there? Well, he could always do this, and and then I would structure, like plot out, well, if he does this, then this might happen, and this might happen, and this might happen. Alternatively, if I'd sort of send him into the station, possibly maybe there's somebody else in there with him. Well, who else could that be? Well, it could be a porter, it could be his girlfriend sneaks in, it could be a friend comes in, and then what happens to them while they're down there? And then I'd basically riff on that. And then I'd say, or maybe he's on the platform, he sees something, but what is it that he sees? Could it be that he sees a ghost? Does he see a monster? Does he see nothing? Does he just see shadows? Is it that there's actually somebody living down there? And I would write all of this down, and then I tend to find while I'm writing, one of the ideas that I've come up with gets me excited, and I will usually write ooh, and then I'll run with that one. So I'll basically end up writing the structure of my story, and I'll copy and paste it into Notepad or Evernote or something, and I'll delete all the bits I'm not going to use and just leave behind the bits that I do want to use, and then that becomes my structure. I do find it's quite useful if I'm not sure where a story's going to go. I'll also use Freewriting, and I'll sort of say, right, well, I'm up to this point and this character is in this scenario, but I want them to be in this scenario. How do I get them there? What could happen? What's around them? What can I introduce? And I literally write it like that. I've got this character, what do I do with them next? Well, they could do, or they could do that, or... and I do actually find that more or less having that written conversation with myself is a good way of getting ideas going, or structuring something before I even start. So it's useful for pre-writing and during writing. So yeah, that's Freewriting. Hopefully you found that useful. If you like these tips and you'd like to receive them in your inbox, consider signing up for my list. There's a link below. If you sign up, I'll send you a book of 25 writing prompts as a thank you. But otherwise, stay tuned for next week, when we'll be talking about writer's block and how to get around it. So in the meantime, have a fabulous week, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye bye.